Mr. Speaker, the Junkin family owns a small business in Port Perry, Ontario, and sells boats for recreation. Both Brandon and his wife Martina work at the small business, as do both of Martina's parents. Like most businesses in this sector, they buy their inventory in the winter for sale in the summer. They have to pay the GST up front, and now they have to pay the Canadian tariffs up front. This means they'll buy fewer boats and they'll lose money this year. Why is the government failing to listen to these small businesses? Will they exempt these boats from the Canadian tariffs?
The Honourable Minister of Finance.
I'm happy to address the question from the member opposite and say that, first of all, we've been trying to take into account Canadians across the country who have issues and real challenges in dealing with the tariffs that have been put in place as retaliatory measures against the United States. We are certainly listening to businesses to make sure that we get it right and that we deal with any problems in the implementation of those tariffs. That process is an ongoing process, one in which we are taking very seriously in order to make sure that businesses are not disadvantaged.
The Honourable Member for Durham.
Mr. Speaker, the Finance Minister needs to recognize small businesses can't wait a year for relief from the tariffs their own government is imposing on them. They're collecting $300 million already in tariffs, but studies show most will go to large businesses. Small businesses like the Junkins can't afford armies of lobbyists and lawyers. They need to access tariff support now. Will the government streamline the application process and make support available to small businesses across Canada in the next month, not next year?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary for Canada-U.S. Relations. Order.
Mr. Speaker, our government understands that the U.S. 232 measures have created real challenges and hardship for Canadian workers and Canadian businesses, and that's why this government has made up to $2 billion available to defend and protect the interests of Canadian workers and businesses. These include measures such as extending work-sharing agreements, increased funding for skills training, funding to bolster competitiveness, and the teams are working through the night, Mr. Speaker, to get these resources out to those who are most affected. We're going to continue to monitor and supervise the situation and respond to protect our Canadian workers. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.